This brief video has been designed to support practitioners leading colleagues through a group learning professional dialogue activity focusing on the second section of the module, Introduction to Autism and Inclusive Practice. A video overview similar to this one is provided for each section of the module, and each associated group learning session is designed to follow a similar predictable structure. Before moving on to this session, the first session on terminology should already have been completed. The topic covered in this second section is the Scottish context for autism and inclusion. After each session, participants will be asked to complete a gap task in advance of the next session. Information within the module is most suitably accessed as a solitary reading activity in preparation for the group sessions, which should aim to involve more discussion and reflection. At the end of the first session on terminology, participants are guided to read the module content on the Scottish context for autism and inclusion in preparation for this session, Session 2. Within the group session, it can be helpful for the group leader to provide a brief reminder of the content before launching into the discussion activities. This section provides information on the Scottish context, legislative and policy frameworks, and inclusion and supporting autistic learners. The next few slides in the PowerPoint provided within the group learning materials provide a brief overview of the content of this section of the module. Within the PowerPoint, there are notes which can be referred to when recapping the module content. The image of this slide is contained within the module and is a reminder of the national agenda, legislative and guidance context that local authorities, educational practitioners and healthcare professionals work within. A link to further information on the Scottish Government's presumption to mainstream is included on the slide and within the module. Links included within the session PowerPoints are all included within the module too. This slide is a reminder of the aims of Curriculum for Excellence and how this sits with the United Nations Convention on the Rights of the Child and the Getting It Right for Every Child or GIRFEC framework. This figure within the module provides a more detailed, broad overview of the national legislation underpinning the Scottish educational context of inclusion and equality. This figure is linked to legislation and the 2017 Supporting Children's Learning Code of Practice, providing an overview of factors giving rise to additional support needs. Again, more detailed notes are included within the PowerPoints, which are matched to the content within the module itself. A more detailed list of relevant policy and legislation is included within the module, which it may be helpful for participants to explore and become familiar with. A brief explanation of the Scottish Autism Strategy is also recapped within the PowerPoints. Within the group learning PowerPoint for this session, you are also directed to some information about the Scottish Government's Towards Transformation Plan, which provides an update on current plans for progress relevant to people who are autistic or those who have a learning disability. This information is not contained within the module, which was developed shortly before this update. It is anticipated that participants should cover module content as a gap task in preparation for the group learning sessions. Therefore, recapping of the content should be kept as brief as possible so that the majority of group time is dedicated to discussion and reflection. The first activity is Activity 3, which includes watching a brief video which may prompt discussion. This slide from the module recaps the 4 key features of inclusion, and further detail from the module is included within the notes section of the PowerPoint presentation. Activity 4 can be found on page 9 of the reflective log. This should be completed as a group discussion activity, with encouragement to complete the log as a gap task out with the session. Two more slides cover the information provided within section 2.3, Inclusion and Supporting Autistic Learners. The information within section 2.3 leads to the discussion activity, which is Activity 5. Activity 5 can be found on the reflective log on page 10 and should also be used as a focus for group discussion within the session. Gap tasks following on from this session will include reading the module content in preparation for next session, Session 3, on Understanding Autism, and completing the reflective log for Activities 4 and 5, which it is recommended should be approached as a group discussion task within Session 2. As always, the session PowerPoint will round off with a reminder of the focus of the upcoming session. Session 3 will cover Understanding Autism.